Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. We are live from one of our favorite spots on the Lunchbox tour. We're actually starting up a little early, which is a shocking development, but we all got here early, promptly. Pat Utter, proprietor extraordinaire of my favorite sports bar.
Thank you.
Neighborhood sports bar. We've got like Mike Lubie on the mixing board, and he is going to be joining us in a second. And welcome, everybody. And you'll notice today that Pat, both Lubie and I have shaved.
We're shaved. I wore a collared shirt. I made sure my hair was coiffed properly.
One thing has not changed. You guys still have very good appetites.
Of course.
Well, I'm hoping that.
Can you give us a little description here, my dear?
So we got Kennedy bringing out the food. Our favorite.
Go on, Kennedy. Go on.
Get her on there. We want to get everybody
involved.
Kennedy for sure. And we just loaded up and linked onto the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook group. I know that's Pat's favorite thing going on there.
It is.
148,000.5. 148,500 lunatic members who love to talk about food. And we welcome to the program one of the great servers and work staffers here at Shenanigans, Kennedy.
She's more than that. She's family. No. I'm not allowed to say this because I have to be politically correct. But she's family. I have a special place in my heart for her, and of course, she just brings such a great skill set. She's a throwback to the type of person that you just want to come in. We were named Cheers. In the old days.
Everybody knows your name.
Everybody knows her name.
And we all know
Kennedy
the faces.
Kennedy.
I love Kennedy. I love coming and seeing Riley now work in the bar. I love coming and seeing Atlanta. She's been a long time employee.
Yes.
Kennedy, what did you bring for us today?
I brought you guys something. I brought a mahi sandwich that has lettuce and tomato on it. Looks pretty good. Some pasta salad and some coleslaw with it.
Coleslaw, pasta salad.
We have our Bang Bang Shrimp Tacos special, one of my favorites. It's got the cabbage on it with some tomatoes and some aioli sauce on it. Guac and it's got some rice and beans with it on the side, and then our half chicken with some mac and cheese and some broccoli.
Look at that chicken, though.
With the
mac and cheese. Look at that. And that was not staged.
You know, one of the big phrases now that I kind of can't stand, but I've grown to like it is "Don't sleep on such and such."
Don't sleep on
the barbecue here at Shenanigans. It's often overlooked, but they got a really nice in-house smoker, and it's on that other side. It's divided into two sides here: 1300 South Federal Highway, of course, in Dania Beach, my hometown. Yes. And the brisket and the barbecue chicken that comes out of there is. Like, I wouldn't sleep on it because it would definitely give me some stains on my pants and my blanket, and my pajamas. But good stuff here, Pat.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed.
All right.
So thank you.
Thank you, Kennedy.
We're going to let Lubie slide in. I've got a lot on my list to talk about. Wow. And again,
I think we should talk food, right? Or is that where you're going with this?
Ready.
Well, I was going to talk a little sports, a little
sports.
food.
Okay.
I got a big agenda here.
Wow.
And it's nice to have you because you are one of our favorite, proprietor guests. You are never shy with your opinions. And we were talking a little bit before the show about, last night. This is a, sports bar, but I consider it, more than just your ordinary sports bar. It's a sports
gastropub.
Great specials and all the like. But did you get a little bit of a crowd in here for, I guess, did. Now, last night? All of a sudden, it seems like there's a frenzy around this Caitlin Clark and the women's Final Four and the women's basketball tournament, the likes of which I've never seen. Lubie, did you actually?
It's funny. It's in the 90s because UConn came on the scene. You had Pat Summitt with Tennessee. I remember watching some of those games and getting into Rebecca Lobo was there, Tamika Catchings, Shamika Holdsclaw, and even a little bit of the WNBA because the Comets came into the league and just tore it up. And then since then, I just haven't, Diana Taurasi in the early aughts was sort of a big deal. But I haven't been into women's college basketball or women's basketball at all since then. But Caitlin Clark has become such a phenomenon that I'm not going to lie. I did watch the entire second half, and I was thoroughly impressed by her play. The women's game to me is still a little different than the men's, so I don't know if I will become an avid fan. But I will say that last night the game was played pretty well, especially between LSU and Iowa, two of the better programs in the country.
Look, it had a built-in plot line because all of a sudden this LSU coach has become a bit of a villain because she's unnecessarily been like yelling at reporters and stirring up,
Well, you got to
And
do it though. You got to do this.
She's like the wrestling
Yeah,
villain.
you got to get in the defense's head. They knew what was coming.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was all staged myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see what the numbers are in terms of ratings, but definitely
blew up.
interested. Did you watch it?
I did.
And what do you think of Caitlin Clark?
Well, what do you think of any phenomena? I mean, she's a phenomena, and the positive thing is LSU drew up a great defensive strategy, and I like the way they approached it. Like, I got this, I got her. She is what it is. We knew what we were going to do, and they couldn't stop her. Okay, so, that's it.
Yeah, and
can't stop her. You can do all you want. That's why she's a phenomenon.
That's the definition of an impact player. But I gotta admit, well, first of all, all these comparisons to the greats from the past. We were talking about this a little bit before the show. It's like apples
especially
and
if
oranges.
there wasn't a 3-point shot.
Yeah, you can't say, oh, such and such is better than or has a more prolific scorer than Pete Maravich or whatever the case may be. Because there was no 3-point line then.
Right.
It was a completely different game, different era. And then it's just a matter of look, just appreciate her for what she is, which is kind of a force.
One of the greatest shooting female players of all time, if not the greatest so far. And then she has to make that next step to the pros.
So now I missed the game.
Love college basketball.
I missed the game last night because I was at Val had a brother just retired. We were at one of my favorite places, Tropical Acres. We had a nice little retirement party dinner, and we were there. So I didn't get to see. I think I came home and there was about 2 minutes left in the game. So I did catch the end, and by that point, Iowa had already pulled away. But I guess, the question is, what gets me now is obviously ESPN has the rights to the women's tournament. So all the ESPN and ABC properties are hyping the crap out of this to a degree.
Well, look at what you opened up the talk show with. You didn't even go to the men's, okay? I mean, that's quite exciting. We're down to the Final Four.
This is true.
Right? And you went right to this.
This is
so
true.
They did what they wanted to do.
But the way they're hyping it, like, okay, we've got, on one of the many big screens, crystal clear here. We've got the ESPN, the Pat McAfee show on. And I just saw a chyron saying somebody is comparing Caitlin Clark that she's Wayne Gretzky. And it's like, wait a second, she's not Wayne Gretzky. It's a different sport.
Yeah.
It's a different time. Wayne Gretzky was an 18-year-old phenom, and Caitlin Clark is now a senior, I assume, in her 20s. And I don't know why these ridiculous comparisons are needed, but
I guess they just want to
pumping it up.
I think we were kind of joking about our show that we like, her enthusiasm, right? Prior to this, you couldn't hardly give away tickets to the WNBA.
Sure.
So here she is, similar to what Peely did to soccer all those years ago when he was introduced to the United States. She's done it. I mean, prior to that, I have guys requested on TV. Can you put it on over here?
Yeah.
I want to see what it is.
Oh, wow.
I want to watch it.
Wait,
That's
you mean
cool.
somebody other than Jim Sarney? And we send our best wishes to him because Jim is been the chief advocate for women's sports and equality. And look, we love
tennis. Is a gimme. Tennis is a gimme.
Love watching women's tennis. It's exciting.
Williams.
They're serving the ball as hard as the men did 10 years ago.
The King established that. Chris Everett established that.
Again, I love horse racing now because that is the one sport where truly men and women and
horses,
even leading the equine athletes. If you are a good, talented filly, you can run against the boys in the Triple Crown. And something that Rachel Alexandra did a couple of years back when she won the Preakness. And, of course, we have female trainers, female jockeys that can get and compete against men. It's the one sport where on an actual level playing field, women do and can compete, which is exciting. Now, as far as some of the other professional endeavors, I mean, we were talking before the show. You're a fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm, aren't you?
I am. Pat? Yes, I love that cynical, backhanded compliments. I like everything.
You like Larry David? See, this is why we get along because I'm kind of a Larry David-ish character.
I never thought of it that way, but yes, 100%.
You 100% are, yes.
Yes.
So you were mentioning one of your highlights of this season, and I have not watched the latest episode yet, so don't give me any spoilers. I don't know what it was about. The last one I saw was where he was buying the used Mercedes for Richard Lewis, and he left the stinky cheese in there. Wow. But that was a good one.
The crux of it is that every person, no matter who they are in this world right now, has to feel that they have to come up with a reason to say they are supportive of all
equality,
all wool culture. Let's just say everything.
We really are
people that have been. Let's face it, women athletes, different athletic color, everything have been prejudiced against. And women, I mean, the soccer. You saw what happened with the women's soccer.
The women. I was there in '99 for the Women's World Cup when they won it all, and Bradley Chastain. That was one of the best moments of my whole sports writing career.
Cool. Cool
that was great. But as we were saying, in the Larry David episode this year, where everybody started to hate him and putting these bricks on the wall of the synagogue that he attended,
saying cynical bad things.
Some people were saying that he hates women, and then he came up with this whole laundry list of things to show that he really does love and support women. And what was one of the things that he put on the list?
The top list is he's reading through it, and when he gets to, and Larry David attended 2 women's WNBA games, and then they look at him and they said, "You really did?" And he goes, "No, I didn't." So this guy, he's quite the character.
But look, hey, we've reached a point now that maybe when you get the Caitlin Clarks and the
if she wasn't
some of these other stars,
if I had 2 tickets courtside right now, and say it was a Saturday and you had to go down to Miami, fight traffic all the way down there to see the game. Would you go if it wasn't her? That's the question.
No. At this point, if somebody's giving me a ticket to a regular season Heat game or an NCAA tournament game with Caitlin Clark, I'm going to the – I can't believe I'm saying this because the Heat –
well, that's not what we're comparing again. I'm just comparing would you go, period.
Yeah.
If she wasn't there.
Oh,
that's why he said that's
Saturday traffic not too bad. Depends on the parking situation.
No, but that's what Larry Davis is trying to point out.
Oh, yeah.
That he did attend him. He didn't mention Caitlin Clark, and he didn't.
No,
but as more of these and quick quiz, Lubie, who are the Final Four on the women's side now?
It's UConn. It's
and Gino.
Gino is still there.
He's been there forever.
He's still there.
And
UConn, Iowa,
of course,
South Carolina. And who's Iowa playing?
Is it South Carolina or did they get bounced?
South Carolina. No, they're undefeated. South Carolina's undefeated. South Carolina, UConn, Iowa,
41 points.
12 at USC or something else.
USC lost to UConn last night.
Okay, so I'm now.
I'll have to give you the
this is it. This is where.
Team.
And Pat, quick quiz, men's side. Who's the Final Four on the men's?
Oh well, you want to know who my dark horse is? NC State.
Well, they're in both.
Yeah, they're in both. NC State, Alabama.
Yes.
Jim Sarney was just,
and I'm especially interested in seeing, what happened.
Well, UConn looks
dominant
in the men's game.
Yes.
The way they
everybody picked them from the beginning.
And
but I love Alabama's defense. North Carolina State is my sleeper.
NC State is fun.
And I'm not a really good analysis guy with basketball because I enjoy it just on like art. Okay, can I if you show me a picture of art and say, do you like that? Yes. So what do I like about basketball? I love the fluidness of
artistry.
It. Yeah,
it's kind of like ballet. I mean,
for me, anybody that's there it deserves to be there. So that's the way I look at it.
We've gone heavy on the sports talk. Let's bring in a little food now.
Oh, here we go.
I got a question for you because we had a special guest co-host yesterday when we were up at Gilbert's Burgers. Carlos Frias, the former food editor and writer of the Miami Herald, joined us. And,
very nice.
Carlos originally, Cuban heritage, very big on the Latin food. And he would have enjoyed the rice and beans that you make really good black beans.
We do
with rice. He was upset because the New York Times in the Sunday, they have their cooking section in the, magazine. They do a recipe. They had a recipe.
So you wanted to try something, right? You were giving me crap yesterday.
Okay. Oh, you trying this now? Oh, he's got the food phone going. So, look at this. He has been sneakily working on upgrading the production.
You just questioned me, so I don't know. This isn't exactly what you're
talking about. People eat with their eyes. I want to thank you, Lubie.
He's linked up now his iPhone camera to the actual broadcast, and when we want to talk about a specific food item, and of course now you could kind of do a zoom in. Here's the black beans. Carlos was going crazy because the New York Times recipe for black beans called for jalapenos, and he said jalapenos do not belong in black beans.
That's a Mexican influence, but onions do.
Onions,
so I like to have a little onions.
And I'm going to go in and have a little of the black beans. And
I think they have to clarify if they're going to say baked beans. They might add like Mexican black beans or something. Is there such a thing instead of red beans? I don't know.
Possibly, but yeah, jalapenos are not a black beans thing. I don't know where they pulled that from, but
all good.
Being from South Florida, that's not.
I was
something
trying to
I've
be
ever
good.
tried.
I just said I'm going to go for a little piece of fish. I ordered a mahi sandwich.
Here, take the bun over.
Well, I'm not going to take the bun because I'm
He's
kind of
trying
going
to be healthier. He's
a little
been
bit
doing better
healthier.
lately. I will give
And
him
it's
credit.
Tartar
see-
sauce, homemade
I
tartar.
could see this bandage. I was a little concerned because they drew blood from me today. They're doing more, blood work. I'm going for a full physical next week, and they took out 3 vials. Usually they just put a little Band-Aid on it. I don't know why she wrapped it up like a tourniquet
Yeah, what did
today.
she do to you?
Does this mean like that she was
I don't know. She
concerned that I
thinks
was going to
you're-
bleed
You're
out?
soft, I think.
Look at the inside of that.
This is amazing.
Look at this.
I can. I got rid of myself. We can do it again if you want.
We've got the shrimp taco. I'm not going to do any big bites today. I am going to let's discuss.
Nibble.
Let's discuss your mahi sandwich because, as you like to say, friends
Everything
don't let
starts-
friends
yeah.
eat frozen fish. So this
Well, you
is
mentioned Tropical Acres and you mentioned certain things, Gilbert and different sponsorship that you have, but also top quality restaurants.
Yeah.
It all starts at one place where you source your food from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have that sign that says, friends don't let friends eat frozen fish. You'd be amazed to see even fine dining restaurants that when you see halibut or you see different fish
See a
that are
little bit of
frozen.
the fish here. We're
So
gonna
I have a
the
source to
ISO
get
on the Mayo bite. I'm sorry. go ahead.
local mahi and dolphin mahi, and we get it in 5 days a week. So that's where that starts out. And just the cooking basically is how you want to cook.
Perfectly grilled, not overcooked, still
Right.
nice and moist inside. And again, I'm going bunless today because
very
trying
nice.
to do. I'm trying to emulate
Now,
you,
is this
Pat
prior?
Utter.
No, this prior to the doctor's appointment. It's because
This
we
is-
have also. I got a good clean bill of health party, which we'll have here with Guinness and cheeseburger patty melts, and Reuben sandwiches,
Well,
pizza. Yeah, I don't see pizza here.
I
or
did
any
the
chicken wings.
the first part of this was
Extra
the
spicy.
cardiologist last week, as viewers of the show know. I mean, I'm not out of the clear, but it was like, everything
Borderline.
sounds okay. Some of the numbers aren't great.
But I want to see you back.
Oh,
That's not a good thing when it's that. But I'd like to see you back. But not 6 months. No, next week.
No. It's going to be, it's 6 months.
Oh, okay.
But 3 months, in 3 months, I got to do another one of these tests, check out the amount of plaque in my arteries and that kind of stuff. So, I'm going to try to be a good boy for the next few months. And it's really, and
I've seen you. I've known you for over
Forever.
20 some years. Yeah.
You've
And I've seen
Skinny
you going.
Mike.
Yeah, I've seen Skinny. But you know what I do know that, and I'm not saying this to stroke your ego. When you put
Okay.
your mind to something,
Yeah, he's
when
weird.
he is weird. I
He's
me's
very,
he's focused, like as
anal
focused
retentive,
as he is to gorge himself. he can go
I could
150
swing
miles
the other
yeah,
way.
You
I
could go
mean-
the other way. And I've seen you in a spinning class. I've seen you in the Memorial Milers
You've
running.
seen
Yeah, he used to
I-
ride his
and you-
bike like
yeah,
that.
you
You've
see
seen
me
me do
Madman.
half marathons.
So
Yep,
if you,
shocking.
I do not question your discipline. So
Okay. I do sometimes now because lately it seems like I do these
I do.
half-hearted efforts. But when your health is on the line and
you're
now
intelligent enough.
I'm
if
at-
someone's saying cholesterol's that high,
Exactly.
time
I'm at the age, the blood sugar, my father had diabetes, his mother had diabetes. I'm about to join the ranks probably and probably will need to get on some meds. I need to just start watching it.
Yep.
And again, we're at the age, Pat, where I have friends now. And again, shout out my good friend, Mark Schweitzer, known as the Sheik, successfully underwent a kidney
Mazel tov.
transplant
That's
yesterday
God bless him.
right here at Memorial. He's a
His
guy
wife
known
is the one that gave him the kidney.
and
Yeah.
that is true love.
I feel like that's a lot. I don't know if my wife's
Lupita-
doing that.
That is not a subject for this show.
Exactly.
But no, it's
You
both
have
of them
friends.
are doing well.
You have friends.
God willing,
You
I'll
have
be fine.
friends.
I'm just
I
saying the
think you
wife
should go to
offered.
a warm market before you go to the.
Like, I
I
feel
want to
like
be
my wife-
I want to be a fly on the wall when that
I feel
conversation.
like my
goes.
wife would hold it over me the rest of my freaking life. That's my only thing.
Well, and look,
Are you
it's-
going to drink that? Are you going to eat that? Why?
She'd be a
Listen,
loon.
you better take care
That was
of that.
my freaking kidney.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I don't know how the negotiation went, but that is truly a selfless act of love, and it's also really interesting. I mean,
Was it
the
a genetic?
miracles-
Was it a genetic
no,
thing?
he's had. Well, it might be related to 9/11. He lived right across from the World Trade Center, and his autoimmune system went a little screwy
Oh,
after
really?
that.
After? Oh, jeez.
And but we don't know exactly why. But look, all I know is the miracle of modern medicine. Both of them, had the procedure, take the kidney out. I did not realize this about when you receive a kidney transplant.
You got to be on anti-rejection drugs.
Well, not only that. Do you know that I was saying, they cut out the old kidney and have to reattach the new one? They add a third one. They leave both kidneys in there. So now we've got.
How do they fit all of that?
One person in the marriage has one kidney and the other has three, but two of them are shot. So, but I never realized that they cram a third one in there. I didn't know there's
and
space.
I hope I never have to know it on a personal basis. Thank you for sharing.
Well, it's fun. I just found it really fascinating, and I like
don't
to share.
Listen, you're starting to sound like Larry David. Do not back the hearse up here. You're fine. Just eat your fish and start exercising.
I didn't know if you have to have a certain amount of room. Like it might
I don't
be
want
a benefit
to know.
to me to have
certain
a big
things
belly.
I'm not interested
if they
in
ever need to cram in that third
no,
kidney.
I don't think anything's necessary for a big belly.
All right,
no
let's
offense.
get back to the food.
Other than a good
anyway,
sleep, a less comfortable sleeping.
Speedy recovery to him.
Yeah.
But you could eat very healthy here, and that's why we've got the fish. We got the shrimp.
My wife
we got
designed that
chicken.
part of the menu.
Yeah.
Everything on the menu: quinoa, arugula salad, hummus, fresh vegetables, all this fresh fish. And I designed everything you're not supposed to eat, but tastes delicious at a bar setting. That's
Nice.
that's been.
So you brought up curb, and I know we'll take a break soon, but it was an interesting topic that we talked about with other restaurateurs that I did not think was this big of a deal. But watching that episode, the
We
fact
talk about the threshold of
returning
returnability.
food. To me, it seems clear. You take a bite or two, it makes sense. Look, it's okay to take a bite or two. Our friend Kuya Kaisen said, if you could take up to 4 bites, and he'll agree with you because
if it's a main dish, not sushi.
No, not 4 sushi rolls. I'm saying like if you have like a big piece of steak or whatever, and
if it's a cooking issue, like temp issue,
yes,
you get maybe the 1 bite.
I think you should know right away.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you should know right away.
You can cut in the middle to see
But
if it's
but
same
if there's an issue like
a
regarding
taste or a flavor.
first off, and I probably shouldn't say this, right? But the dirtiest word in the restaurant industry is the word no. Okay,
Right.
no.
You want to make the customer
So
happy.
you want to make the customer happy, but also the days of the customer's always right because of the food costs. Certain people had used that to their benefit is how I look at it. But I think that when you have a competent staff, you have to understand something. I had a knee done recently, a little problem with my knee, and on the other knee, they wrote on there. I thought they were joking. Not this knee, not this knee.
No, they'll do
Okay,
that.
and you only have 2 knees, right?
Yeah.
So here we are. Our skill set is to make people happy, bring them food in a pub-like atmosphere. Of course, maybe a pizza will be overcooked, a wing will be a little, whatever the circumstances are. So you can see it. If the customer is wrong on the case, you may offer to replace it.
Yeah.
Replacing is always better because therefore it's not a fact that much like you guys here, you ordered way too much food for a guy that's going to the doctor.
Exactly.
Okay. So that happens, but it's very small. Here it's very small.
I think it depends on the type of restaurant because when you're going to a fancy place, white linen, really, high prices, people expect and kind of demand perfection, even though perfection's not always
rightfully
possible.
so.
So if something is not cooked to the proper order or if something's too salty, again, the time to register your dissatisfaction is at the time of service, not 3 days later on Let's Eat. When
if you come in and you want
it.
5 wings, $8.99, or a beer, you taste the beer. I'm going to try something different. Usually ask for a sample.
Yeah,
that's it. That's
like
with liquor.
Of a place.
We'll sample anything just like you do when you go to the gelato store.
Yeah,
but also at the tavern. But also another thing that's indicative of my customer, if you want me to really know, if I see people drinking water in a sports pub. Okay. Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm playing my. You asked.
That would normally be
I'm sorry. You asked me.
Well, in a sports bar, I would get a
You
block.
asked me. You asked me. I got to be honest.
How about club soda?
Club soda's
like if I'm going to a restaurant, I get water. If you're
a water diner, your mean is a lot different. When you sit down fine dining, you order. I'll have an Antonori Tiganello. It's 175. If you don't like the mussels or whatever comes out, they take that in consideration.
Yeah.
But when you have a table full of people that want separate checks and they want water, we don't need to discuss what we know on our side. We know what your group knows and everything, but the water The water is a
Can tell
Right.
you.
water with lemon is a
Right. But you're
in
still
a bar. You're in a pub.
right. And
So
you come in, you get your beer, you get your burger. But if the
we
burger
aim
is
to
undercooked, you can
please.
send it back and put a little bit more heat on it. And if it's overcooked, hopefully they'll make it right.
No, we will make it right.
Yeah.
We will make it right. What did Gilbert say? They're like that's their main focus is their burgers.
They do a lot of burgers, and
occasionally, what are they? Maybe 1 in 300 orders, they get a burger sent back.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'd
it's
about it.
they want people to be happy.
That's
and again,
how I feel.
You're in the yes business. You want people to come back, and you want people to spread the good word, which is
Hey,
what
we have
I've
a
been trying
guest
to
here
do.
on the show.
Oh,
we
who's
have
coming in? Hey,
we have a celebrity
the
that showed up.
better half, Christina.
Oh, she is.
You want to sit in for a second?
You wanna
We'll
come
get
over
Lubie.
here?
We'll
Yeah,
give
I'll get
Lubie the boot.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, she just came to say hi. She's shy, but
Yeah.
happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday.
And we'll
I
see you
told
on
them
the
all
beach.
about the healthy. Everything on the menu, you drew up.
All good.
Everything on the menu, you drew up.
Yep, that's right. She's responsible for all
No,
the good
and
stuff.
I'm not cynical about it because I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't think we have a comp tab, where we comp food problem, and we put a description in it.
Oh,
I
how do you
think
handle us every month?
well, you're on the comp. That's
Yeah.
why you said, no, I'm kidding. But a very small percentage, like maybe 0.50, not even a 1% of free food going
Yeah,
back.
because
So
you have
we-
a regular crowd, and they know what they're getting, and they know what they like, and
the
they're not going to be
criteria in a
difficult.
sports bar is a lot
If you
different.
opened up a location in Boca, might not be the same story.
Well,
I'm the one that's
Is
slamming
that why
Boca.
my lawyer said, let's do lunch?
Yeah,
That's what they say in Boca. Let's do lunch.
yeah.
What are we doing? Am I cooking? What are we doing?
You're going to some new fancy steakhouse place
Yeah.
or Italian restaurant, and then you're going to modify every order and complain when it comes out wrong. That's the
No,
Boca
let's
way.
not go there
All
because
right.
90% of the people aren't like that. 90%
I
of
know.
the people come here, they want to have a nice time.
You're
Actually,
being
what
very
I see,
diplomatic.
what I see, to be honest, is they could care less of me as the owner, but the servers, they
Yeah.
appreciate
You know what?
good service, and if the server's nice and doing it, they don't complain. We
You're-
don't get
you know,
locked
you're
up.
absolutely right.
Even
Okay.
Kaizen said the same. He actually said
Yeah.
it rarely. We were trying to ask
Very
him about the
rarely,
never.
yeah.
And I've become jaded because in my adminning
You're seeing
duties
all the
of the
negatives.
Let's Eat
Yeah.
group, and
You're
I've
also on a diet. I noticed you're
You're
little
bitter.
grouchy
Cranky,
with that.
bitter.
Look what he ate. He ate like a thimble full of
I
things.
had a couple
Now,
of
if you
strands
slam
of the
this,
pasta.
if
sauce.
you
I'm gonna
slam
get
this
there.
down here,
Um,
you'll mellow out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
happened.
true. But no, when I admin, it's funny. You tend to only register the negative, and a lot of people say, "Oh, this group is so negative." And I actually a couple of times did a tally of everything that comes in over the weekend, the posts. 85 to 90% of posts on Let's Eat are either positive or what I call neutral, where they're just asking about where do I find a good place for brunch. It's only about 10 to 15% of them that are what we call negative. But those are the ones that stick in my mind because so many of them can be unreasonable.
Well, see, you
and it
you
makes
have
me
no
nuts.
you sir. You're a perfectionist. I know you. You're a gifted writer. You're gifted with this.
I'm a gifted eater.
We're impervious to this. So if you're in the restaurant business, have
Right.
you ever watched Gordon Ramsay and
Yeah.
the way he finds some poor guy from Mississippi that has a child that has a health issue?
Right.
How we get
Reality
treated.
TV.
So
yeah.
we're like I'm doing the best I can. What can I do?
Yeah,
You
That's
do
all.
pretty well here.
That's pretty much it.
And again,
That's pretty much it.
Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway. It is time for our first break, but first I got to sing the praises of another longtime sponsor, another icon, really. And do you realize, Pat Utter, that the Studio Alley family and Tropical Acres celebrating 75 years this month, 75 years of Tropical Acres, been there since 1949. And I was in there, as I mentioned last night, stopped in at the bar.
How old was the father when he started that?
Well, Sam, so here's the thing. It originally
I'm
started by
interested in that.
another family. It was called the
Okay.
Harveys. They were first cousins from Yonkers, New York.
All right.
Harveys opened up Tropical Acres
Was that
originally.
75 years ago?
That was in 49. The
Okay.
Harveys ran it from 49 to 62. There was a
Okay.
fire, and the Harveys at that point thought they were just going to walk away from it.
Right.
Sam Studiali said, no, I want to save this thing. It's a really nice place. It's got a following. And back then, it was surrounded by farmland. There was nothing
Yes.
out west. 2500 Griffin
I was
Road.
here 1965.
62 is when they took over, and
Okay.
ever since now. And I met the fourth generation of Studialis are now working there last night. Jack and Terry's grandson
Great grandson.
No, because it was Sam, Jack, Joe, and now I don't know if it's Joe and Jill's son.
Or they might have another
and I forgot his name already, but he's a 16-year-old high school student.
Oh, wow.
Very polished. He was on the floor. He was running food. He was busting, and he's going to be working there over the summer, trying to save up for a new car. So that's the kind of family style,
hard work,
and also kind of work ethic that we love to see, and it makes me love it. The happy hour in the bar, 4:30 to 6:30 with those half price.
I got to share a story now that you're on.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I went to culinary school in 1974. Okay. So if you want a little background, I met a guy and became fast friends with a guy named John Pappas. He worked for them as a grill man for 40 some years. Yep. He just retired during COVID. John was trained as a chef, and back then is like what I see now. Let's go on to culinary school. Back when we were there, it was comparable to going to auto body school or going to.
It was a trade.
It was a trade.
A
blue collar trade.
Right.
And very, very hard. But I will tell you this: he has the nicest things to say. He dedicated his whole career to the family, and I still keep in touch with him. And he did a great job there for 40 plus years. It shows something right there.
They do a great job. They just came off on that big Easter Sunday. They did over 900 covers. The last night, the day after Easter, everybody's a little bit beat. They had another a private affair in the back. This really upscale group that comes in twice a year. They had 180 people with and they don't miss a beat there. The next big holiday on the menu on the agenda is Mother's Day. Never too early.
My worst holiday. I was in fine dining. If I could call out. Anybody asked me what was the worst experience you've ever had?
Yeah.
Was it Valentine's Day? No. Lovers. I could count. But like you're saying, they were unhappy. Proposal. No, everybody has a mom.
Yeah.
Everybody
has a mom's
You
mom.
don't want to cook.
All these generations.
Everybody visualizes that mom is going to be prioritized. And in my case, what I've seen, mom's pretty hard to please.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll just leave it at that.
Right.
So the last day that I would ever want to work at a fine dining restaurant is Mother's Day.
Right. But Tropical Acres, they're so smooth and polished there. They know how to handle even the most cranky of mothers or grandmothers.
I think it's best that subject matter you were about returns. You talk to them next week, opposed to me.
Next time we were in there with
no
Jack.
one's sending the burgers back on Mother's Day here.
So again, Mother's Day, May 12th, and get your reservations on the books now. Get it in early. Get the time you want. Call 954-989-2500 for reservations. They're old school. The only way you can make a reservation is by calling on the phone.
Yep.
Not available online.
Open table.
They are not on open table.
No, I know open table is very
Well, open table poaches people's information, and they charge the restaurants for each reservation. But call Tropical Acres. Get in the books now for Mother's Day, a Sunday that they're open. Usually they're closed on Sundays. Get in there any night. Half price wine night, Monday and Tuesday. I think tonight's still Tuesday. You can still get your half price bottle of wine. We love Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox set.
Try the seafood also.
Yeah, they do a great job.
I had the fish last night there. Very good.
Seafood's delicious.
All right, we'll be back with more after these words on the Lunchbox. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Here for Prezzo Italian Restaurants, 2 locations, Boca Raton at Park Place on Military Trail and Palm Beach Gardens in the PGA Commons on PGA Boulevard. Contemporary Italian cuisine with house-made pastas, wood-fired pizzas, salads, veal, chicken, and of course their famous focaccia bread with oven-roasted garlic bulbs. In Garlic We Trust is their slogan, and you can trust Prezzo for a great experience with gracious service and tremendous value. Open 7 days, featuring brunch, lunch, dinner, and happy hour. Great wine deals and full bar at both locations. For reservations and more information, go to eatprezzo.com. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox at Shenanigans with Pat Utter, Mike Lubie Lubitz.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming, guys.
We'll get back to sports. I'm picking away at trying to, portion control.
Can I talk about the chicken?
Yes, please.
All right. So the difference when you want to talk about chicken,
can I eat the chicken?
You can eat the chicken
while you.
But we use a roaster chicken. We use a organic, no steroids, no hormones.
Oh, wow.
But it's a 3.5 pound to 4 pound. So no, I don't have to say a Spanish competitor, Cuban competitor that you get their chicken nicely flavored, but basically no meat, skin and bone, right?
Yeah.
We have a huge drive-through business.
I'm digging into the thigh. I'm getting nice chunks of meat.
Yeah, the meat. That's the difference when it's a independent guy that is working the room, is checking the thing, like you said, Tropical Acres, or
we love.
You mentioned
we
Cafe
love our
Seville.
independence. We love Joey at Cafe Seville.
He's the best.
He's been killing it. He has such a loyal crowd. I love, and this is what, to me, the Lunchbox. Part of the reason why I like doing the show and what I wanted to do is help support independent businesses like yours and the Studiales at Tropical Acres and Joey's at Cafe Seville and now Kui at Kaizen. Because it's a jungle out there, and it's hard to compete against the big boys that have hundreds of units, and they could get pricing discounts.
I think it's gotten easier. I was just having this conversation. I don't want to mention the guy who has 10 locations because I don't care who you are. I don't care what management quality team you get in. Even the guy that I hold in reverence, Anthony Bruno, who timed Anthony Skullfire that went around, that he had 60-some locations. Okay, you can put your personal touch. You can have everything. You can put your qualities control in. You can have a commissary providing your stuff. But really, it comes down to walking through the room and recognizing and seeing, like what you said. Is a customer unhappy? Is there a return? Is it too noisy? Is it too cold? It's this and that. And if you don't have skin in the game, no, if you're not the owner, if it's not owner operated, or there's a percentage, managing general partner, what do you care? What am I going to worry about? I worked for people for years that there was no motivation other than the fact that I wanted to own my own place.
You were working towards something.
I was working for somebody. Okay, so the chains have a disadvantage after COVID,
right?
Because
the expectations
are, DoorDash,
right?
Bring it to my house.
Yeah, people don't want to go. If they're going to go out to eat, they expect the world, because to get them to go out and eat is a pain in the ass.
Right. Well, apparently, you mentioned the delivery services, the third-party apps really changed the game, and not in a great way for the operators.
It did for me, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
All the smaller guys that have, a small operation, labor-intensive with the owner, they can do that, and they can do a to-go business. I don't want any to-go business if I could.
I was going to say, how much to-go do you?
I don't do it. I don't want any. I have a drive-through.
You have a drive-through
basically
window
for the barbecue.
I hit that sometimes.
Yeah,
I get a burger or I get some barbecue.
Listen, that's nice. That's nice to drive through. But we tell you it's going to be 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's cooked to order.
Call in.
It's not like Sonny's Barbecue where everything's in a warmer.
So people will come to the drive-through, order, and then sit, Is
No,
that
they
how that
have to
works?
go park.
Oh, they
You
do
got to
go
call
park.
ahead. It's a pickup window.
Or you could
It's
call.
not a drive.
It's not a
It's
drive.
not
It's not a
Kentucky Fried
drive-through.
Chicken.
What I do is I call ahead. I'm at home. I
Yeah.
put in an order and I say I'll see you in a half hour.
That's
Then I drive
perfect.
That's
right
great.
up to
Yeah,
the
That's
great.
perfect. That's what we
if you
need. 30
know,
minutes. Yep.
but again, it's enabled you because you do the deliveries, I guess, and
No deliveries.
no deliveries.
No
Okay.
deliveries.
Okay. So what I was going to say is that
Does food travel well?
No,
I mean,
obviously
it doesn't
you're
travel
always
well.
disappointed,
No,
and
no,
then
no,
you
no.
always end up like taking it out on the restaurant when
care.
it's the third-party delivery
Yeah.
platform. We were having this conversation with
When it's on
G.
you,
And
I
the
don't
guy
even blame the
has
third
7
parties.
stops ahead of you.
I don't even blame
But-
the third parties. My wife does it, and I get mad at us for it's on us. Like if you're getting food to go,
It just proves
Just
you have
assume
too
it's gonna
much
be
money.
different.
You have too much money.
Yeah,
That's
if
what
you're
it is.
ordering
If
in
you're
Uber
ordering
Eats
in-
every day,
Yeah, if you're ordering in,
unless you have one of their like packages where you get like the annual subscription, and then they give you all these breaks, you still have to use it like 5 or 6 times a month to make it worthwhile, I think.
yes.
You know, and I'm talking out of my butt because I'm a purist. I like coming into the restaurant itself,
agree.
eating here, or
You
if
sure
I'm
you don't
taking
have any Irish blood? Because you're gregarious. You like going to places. You like
stubborn.
interacting. Yeah, the stubbornness that's not stubborn. We're just mentally ill. I think that we would have done a lot better as a culture if we weren't so nuts.
I should have been Italian. I should have been Irish, but instead I was one of those, Eastern European
Yeah, you
Jewish
made out
from,
all right.
from
You're
Brooklyn.
doing good.
But what I was saying is I like coming to a restaurant or picking up my own food,
Yep.
so I have nobody
Yes.
else but myself to
That's
blame
the
if it's
key.
cold
And you
or if
check
something's
it.
missing.
You
check it before you
checked
leave.
it. Where's the beans?
You
I
know,
got home. I didn't have any beans.
And people say,
What am I
you're
supposed
going to start checking an order that has 4 different
Yes.
things in it? And
Yes.
the answer is
100%.
yes.
Yes.
I try to make
Yes.
sure everything is there.
Yes.
But a lot of people, I guess we've just gotten lazy and complacent
100%.
as a culture. And somebody pointed out, I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if you watched that John Oliver show on HBO Max the last week tonight.
No.
And he does a every
Big
week he
thing
kind
or
of does
whatever.
like a 20, 25 minute kind of a takeout feature on a kind of something that you don't may really think that much about or know that much about. And apparently his target this week was food delivery services and the third-party apps, about the whole economics of it, how it's ruined some places but led to saving other places. I'm intrigued about watching it because somebody posted on the group the other day that he tackled the subject, so I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of TV time, I don't know if you ever. Well, I know maybe next year, Pat, but the Check Please South Florida, the Michelle Bernstein show that's on PBS, they just started their new season last night.
Oh.
It started last night. It's going through the beginning of June.
Yes.
Last night's episode featured one of our newest sponsors, Hui at Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale. And my friend,
it happens to be great.
he's great.
You turned me on to that.
I bet he's great.
They didn't need to promote it.
Well, that's the thing.
My heart just skipped a beat.
When word of mouth gets out. But again, even during the summertime,
great,
everybody could use a little extra
I
business.
gotcha.
And Hui does such a great job. And the guy who first told me about it is a cancer surgeon in Fort Lauderdale by the name of Dr. Nick Tranicus.
Okay.
And he helped prolong my mom's life.
Now you told me about it. Now you're telling everybody.
But Dr.
I'm
Tranicus
teasing you.
told me about Kaizen when I was still the critic, and he got me to go in there in the first 6 months, and then I wrote a nice glowing review, and since then they've been doing very well. But Dr. Nick was the one who presented it on Check Please last night.
Nice.
And
Nice.
I still haven't seen it. I got it on my DVR because I was out last night.
too.
But they do replay it on Thursday night, I think at the same time at 7:30 on the local PBS Channel 2. But congrats to Hui. He deserves all the
Yeah, I
pub.
can't wait
And
to check out the
I
episode.
One
want
of
to go
these
on
days-
record and say I love Michelle Bernstein. I've had the opportunity to attend her cooking seminar, see her. She just did a pop-up at the Hard Rock in Albiaca. That was amazing.
Yep.
I love her. I've followed her career, and more importantly, it's something to everybody keep an eye on. Is that something that you did bring up? If you don't own the building, okay, she has been a tenant, and the same thing that's similar happened to me.
happened to her. Yeah.
It happened to me. We actually, I don't know if we lamented about it but we discussed it at length. How that changes the complexity with escalating rents.
Well,
Yep.
I was, I don't know if you ever made it into Top Round, that
I did.
Right, roast beef place.
Yeah, it
in
was
Fort
great.
Lauderdale,
Great.
Dave Chessel, really nice guy. Him and his wife Stacy, they were just struggling forever, and they they, were trying to make a go of it. It was 4 years, and they just, again, with the offices getting wiped out during COVID, their whole economic, their plan went up in flames.
Yep.
They were trying to get a break from the landlord, right? And they were trying to get a rent reduction. And these guys, they just, again, there's a phrase, colder than a landlord's heart, or harder than. So he just called it quits. He gave notice, and the last day at Top Round was on Saturday, as I wrote about on the group.
Well, Paul Casanova and you promoted it when you were there, and I went up there and I had their malts.
Yeah,
and the roast beef sandwich.
Yeah, they do the custard.
Very nice.
Great.
Yeah, but you know what? Well, I mean,
the problem lies.
What do you think that in order to make it a viable proposition?
Yes.
What do you think rent should be there? And I have a number in mind.
Well, it's not up to me to determine that. But here's the funniest thing that no one considers. Okay, what the plaza I was in was given to the young man from his father.
Right.
Okay. His father lives in Aventura, Puerto Vida, in a gorgeous motor yacht.
Mm-hmm.
So their property, you know what property value is done here in Florida, okay?
Skyrocketed.
So it's skyrocketed. So that plaza and all their properties, let's just say across the board, go up 10%.
Yeah.
So when you talk about developers and everything, so they say, well, we're just passing on to you escalating pricing. Okay, I understand it. But you're not passing.
Not passing on the appreciated value.
I was almost to $100 a square foot at my place. This is ludicrous. I mean,
out in West Hollywood, suburban.
I don't
Hollywood.
want to get on my soapbox, but this is another thing that's bad for them, and I don't know if they were.
Yeah.
You personally guarantee your lease when you sign these leases. This is for everybody listening from Check Please or anywhere else that's contemplating doing it. The lease is the most important thing.
Yeah.
They pass through what they call cost price index, CAM, right? Yeah. In the CAM is their health insurance, their kid going to college, driving a Mercedes.
For the landlord.
For the landlord.
Yeah.
All that.
And they say it's for the insurance and the utilities.
But it's everything in there.
Yeah.
But the most important part is it's a non-assignable lease, which means if these
can't give
people
it
were
off
there and
else.
I said, you know what? They've been doing this. I think I could pick it up a notch and put a Shenanigans there. They probably were financially devastated by this situation.
Yeah. I mean, look, all I know is that
it's not good.
In order to sell sandwiches and custards and the amount of rent that the landlord was getting, it's
rule
just
of thumb
not
is about
sustainable.
18 to 20% of your gross.
But my problem is
your gross.
A lot of the time. Look, I understand. Look, the market's doing this, so people get greedy. Okay, you want to make it's business on every end. Fine.
No, you understand it now, but in the old days they didn't.
No, but what I'm saying is, unless you have someone waiting on that lease, that's my problem. Is a lot of time they see.
Yeah, but in this case, in the case of Pat, it's like they play a game where they say, "Oh, we'll be able to fill it." We've got
it's more insulting than that. They said because I gave them 30 years of my life.
Right.
They said they had a young, cutting-edge chef ready to step in.
And where is he?
And that was a year and a half ago.
And I drove past it the other day.
Problem.
I was at a party at TY
I guess
Park.
that chef didn't go in there with his.
And that's my issue is if you have someone banging on your door to pay you more, it's annoying to me, immoral, but fine, it's business. If you don't, like, why would you kick someone out that has been there and shown they'll pay rent every
Michelle
month?
Bernstein defined Wynwood. She got out in front of everything. She started Wynwood. I went to Wynwood because of Michelle Bernstein, and it's just listen. This is just a norm now. So the attrition is this. You start out working for somebody. You tool your trade. You don't just go to ownership. You rent and lease and see if you got the chops to work 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
You survive for 30 years like I did, and you purchase the building, and then I hang out with you guys.
Right.
And if
so you did a very shrewd thing.
I started as a dishwasher, so I didn't have any other skill set. So that's why I'm still here.
No, but you knew to buy this land. You bought this land, right?
It was a busted out Pizza Hut and
but that's smart.
Charlie Barbecue, who actually
Charlie's Barbecue, who was from Texas, or
yes, he came via Texas,
and that was a good place. You bought both places. You put them together with the tiki thatch roof. And
sort of an
here we
eclectic
are.
redneck hangout.
When you're dealing with the landlord, you're looking in the mirror.
Is redneck still appropriate?
What's that?
Probably not.
Redneck's still
I think
redneck means you work outside, your neck gets red.
It should not be.
It's not your politics.
I think hillbilly is more acceptable, even though
hillbilly.
I think
No, there's no hills.
I think Hillbilly's
think
worse.
I think I want to go working class, man.
Sure.
Blue collar.
Blue
Local
collar.
blue collar, yes.
I try not to put labels on people.
Well, look around you. Look around you. You see any cowboy hats at Cafe
man.
Seville? We got cowboy hats.
Oh,
we got
speaking of hats, let's take our next break, but we do have another topic about wearing hats in nice dining rooms. Let's talk about our
How
friends.
about if you're bald?
Well,
or balding, and you're on a date.
We'll talk about
Delaware.
I think it's appropriate.
We got to talk about Delaware chicken and seafood. Again, another Hollywood staple. Been there for, over 60 years now. 4191 North State Road 7. It is the home of freshness, value, quality, selection, whatever you want. Beautiful seafood. I can't believe we're in the last month of stone crab season already. I got to get in there and get some before the season is
a friend of mine did a thing where he actually took different size crabs.
That was me.
I know it was. That's what I'm saying. And mediums, I standed correct. Yeah. You actually broke them down by the pound. And also, the
mediums
smaller
are the
ones
best
are
value.
Sweeter.
Smaller one. This is something people just.
Gene sort of challenged.
People always are enthralled by.
What kind of gas you put in your car?
No,
I put what grade?
Now,
wait a minute.
He's not putting
you might want to go up a notch on the gas.
I have a crappy old Nissan Rogue 87. It can handle it. But yeah, the colossal, again, sometimes the meat just isn't as sweet, and the yield is actually less. You're paying for mostly shells. So medium is the sweet spot for me, but personal choice. I'm all for that. You could also get their great fish, the grouper, the snapper, the tuna, all that beautiful stuff. They've got the beautiful poultry. They've got steaks.
Grilling
they've got sausages.
Here.
It is grilling time, and it is
grilling. Can we just stay with this extra hour? Yeah, I love this extra hour. Can we keep it? I don't want to go back to the dark. Yeah, I'd like this.
Oh, this time?
I'd like this, spring ahead.
It's always dark sometime. I thought you said you wanted to do an extra hour today. I was no, thank you. I'll stop it too. Delaware is the place to go. Again, Passover is coming up in a few weeks, and they are, believe it or not, Passover headquarters. They make their own gefilte fish in-house. It's the most delicious that I've had, along with their chopped liver, is really good. Nice. So take it from me.
Does anyone have pizza anymore?
No, Jeff Cohen is gone from Pizza Loft. I haven't heard from him in a while, but Delaware is your spot for all the holidays and also just family celebrations. Again, with all the playoff season, grilling season, tournament time, you want to have a nice little cookout this weekend, that's the place to go. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
Well, I do want to say hello. We're talking about great grillers. Captain Ron himself, Mr. Green Egg, is watching and chatting, so we do want to say hello to Captain Ron, Mr. Green Egg.
Captain Ron, I'm sorry we missed it. I heard it was a great time the other night.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Another event that the one and only Patrick Utter would have enjoyed. But if you do want great grilling, no better place than right here at Shenanigan Sports Pub,
1300 South Federal Highway and it's one of those places people are always asking, where can I find good late night
2
food?
miles south of it.
You cook till 2 in the morning?
We keep the kitchen open during the week, which means Sunday through Thursday to 1:30. But on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, which constitute rolling in, we're open till 3:30.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Food.
So if you got the late night,
you don't have to go to Denny's if you don't want to.
Late night munchies or the late arrivals at FLL.
Well, I got a lot of people in the biz.
Yeah.
And the way this area is exploding, I'm getting all the restaurant people are picking it up a notch.
And
we have a late night happy hour.
And all those cruise ship passengers come stay here in these hotels, and they're coming down here and finding all our spots.
The area, who would ever think Sleepy Dania is exploding like it is?
I'm waiting. Do you know that a house on my block listed for $1 million, which is crazy to me because we have all these over. But that's another story. We'll be
more
back
real estate,
was it a
more
food,
real estate, restaurant,
Mayo's
economics.
Lunchbox from Shenanigan Sports Pub after this.
For Gilbert's 17th Street Grill, you know me. I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices, served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. For an exquisite sushi experience, Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale is the place to go. 5640 North Federal Highway, just north of Commercial Boulevard. Chef owner Hui Lam, he's a sushi savant, slicing and serving pristine fish and seafood flown in directly from Japan and around the world. Nigiri, sashimi, special rolls, and omakase dinners. He's ruined me from going anywhere else. It's that good. Open 7 days for dinner and also for lunch. Even if you're not a sushi fan, they have great cooked options, including steaks, chops, rice and noodles, and other Japanese dishes. It's fantastic. For reservations and information, go to kaizenflorida.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox, and Lubie's got the Zoom cam going, and Pat Utter wanted to just have us take a little sweeping panoramic view of the. It's unbelievable. It's 2 o'clock. It's kind of past the lunch rush at most places. This bar is packed. Shenanigans.
Well, here's what I say, right? So everybody that was a food critic got great reviews, right? Got great reviews. Everybody loved it. Posts, everything. Had a great location. Excellent chef. Great pricing. What went wrong? Word of mouth. So the word of mouth is the number one thing that makes me here.
That's
locals. That's the thing.
For locals, word of mouth. Yes, locals. You have people that will sing your praises. I'm one of them. And let's talk about, we've got the
thank you guys,
big time sports coming up. Besides the Final Four and the men next weekend and the women, we also have the Masters is coming up, and don't look now, but playoff season is almost here. Last year, man, that must have been a nice bounty for you, having both teams go to the finals.
That was very, very unusual because they were both Cinderella stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, they got, like you said, with the Panthers, the goalie got extremely hot, took them all the way there. In the Heat, Jimmy Buckets woke up and started playing big-time basketball. And so
I know a lot of the games were overlapping, so a lot of people like myself, because I don't have two TVs hooked up in the living room, I came here and I was watching both games at once. So it must have helped the bottom line with that, April and May, and it went all the way to June, which is I don't know if we'll ever see that again, but I definitely appreciate it. What do you think of the process? Have you been watching much of the Heat or the Panthers?
Here's the thing. I think they came in last year, number 8 seed, right?
Yeah.
So they came all the way through. So they always have a fighter. Yeah, they do. I mean, that team has
the Heat with Jimmy Butler.
I don't want to. The coach is amazing. Pat Riley's amazing. even the ownership, I don't think Mickey Aronson gets his just reward.
Right. He stays out of the way.
Stays out of the way.
Mhm.
I am so disappointed in what I watched on Hard Knocks with the Dolphins. The culture of the Dolphins. I didn't have any idea that it was a show like that, a dog and pony show. That would not be going on in Pat Riley, and it's not going to go on in the Panthers locker room either. So where they come up with, the Dolphins brought in more players. They're just taking everybody now. We realize under Chris Greer in what we have in place.
It always comes back to the Dolphins, even in April.
I know. You're not even talking about it.
Let's face it.
By the way, I can't get enough of this broccoli.
Oh yeah,
Broccoli's really good.
Broccoli, yeah.
Really
Again, I'm trying to psych myself up to vegetables the same
well,
way.
if it's cooked
George
like this,
Bush
I'd eat
Sr.
10 more.
said he-
Meanwhile,
broccoli.
before we get to the Dolphins and the annual disappointment, I'm excited to see the Panthers and what they can unspool. They look like they're a elite team, and of course they
are
have their
elite
little bobble at the end, but they can compete with anybody. They can go on a run with anybody. It depends what the goalie does. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All good. Hey,
there is another team that no one even wants to talk about, the Marlin organization.
Now
I thought you were
0-5.
talking about Chaminade football.
Oh, he'll
Chaminade.
talk Chaminade all day, I'm sure.
He's got his T-shirt.
Well,
on.
that Jeremiah
is very
Smith,
soft body.
Yeah,
He
wait
keeps
till
wasting away.
you see
He's a
this guy
monster.
at Ohio State.
Oh yeah.
They're comparing him to the next coming of Julio Jones.
Yeah,
if
he's
he
a beast.
stays healthy,
He's a
it's
beast.
going to be amazing.
The guy was. He ran circles around a Heritage defense
Oh,
last
my
year. It was
God.
unbelievable. To
It was
see
like
that.
it
was
was
like
like
an
a
NFL player
man
in
with
high
the boys.
Yeah, man amongst boys. He looked
Yeah.
like fierceness in the Florida
Yeah.
Derby, just outrunning and outclassing the competition.
Oh yeah.
That was something. Hey, we got to take one more break, Pat, and then
Yes,
I will
sir.
ask you about the big hat debate. I know where he stands. He's got a hat on his head right now.
Exactly.
But again, this is not white
It's not
linen
fine dining,
tablecloth.
quote-unquote.
We got to talk about our friends at Visit Lauderdale, the Food and Wine Festival. It is not just a one-week event. It is
No,
now
sir.
year-round events and happenings. And the next one coming up is April 13th, a Saturday at noon at our friends at Primo Liquors in Weston, their Weston Road location. They're hosting an event. It's called Elevating and Raising Your Brunch Cocktail Game. Brunch is not just for Bloody Marys and mimosas anymore.
No,
and
sir.
if you get your tickets to this event by going to vlfoodwine.com, purchase them now, and it's 21 and over, please, because they're going to teach you how to make a great Kir Royale.
Nice.
I'm sure you were in fine dining. You know all the bartending tricks of the trade. Kir Royale.
I fell short with the smoke.
Yeah.
The smoke.
Yeah.
Oh, when they do that.
I don't understand the smoke
I don't
infused.
get that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry to tell you.
That's all right.
I like it as a presentation. Maybe when an athlete or a beautiful woman steps out, but now we're going a little too far with the board and the smoke.
The
This
Irish,
makes no sense.
the Irish pubs I grew up in Brooklyn, when they
The
said
only smoke is
wait.
when you start fist fighting.
Cigar
No,
smoke.
when you're in the Irish pub in Brooklyn, where I grew up, the only when they want to, it was the cigar smoke that would like circle it over your Scotch and Jamesons. And maybe that's it. But
Jacqueline Onassis, formerly Kennedy,
Yeah.
used to sit there with a little cognac glass, and they'd heat it in for her over hot water and stuff. I think it's like, look at me. So when I see the smoke,
Well,
I'm like,
you know,
Well, if
look
you
at
want to
look
feel
at
like a
you're having
Kennedy,
a drink.
that's
what
it. If
we
you
want.
want to
Go
raise
to-
that game to feel
Yeah.
like you're a Kennedy or a Vanderbilt, or
Yes.
any of those
Go have
hoity-toity
one.
country club folks,
Beyond
Hey,
mimosas
go-
is for
go-
you.
VLFoodWine.com. Two great
That's where you go.
mixologists going to be there, and it's going to be April 13th, Saturday at noon.
Give me
Again,
something with
VLFoodWine.com.
Chambord. You could put it in anything with
They're going to be
Chambord.
doing espresso martinis. That's all the
Wow.
rage these
It's nice.
days.
My
His
wife
wife
loves
loves
it, yeah.
those. So again,
Who does?
VLFoodWine.com. You could also get your early bird tickets for next year's in January grand tasting event. I think it's still the early bird pricing, almost half off. So you can't beat that deal. VLFoodWine.com. A year-round a feast for the senses. Okay, let's
We
take
have
our
one
final
more
break.
Yep.
And then we'll cut Pat loose, and we'll not yet, but we'll be back with more on the Lunchbox after these words. Food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar, a great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to bashsouthernkitchen.com. Hey, it's Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. We're going to wrap up this edition. Was that the last break? I've lost all track of space.
But I do want you to ask him about the
hats?
Considering he's wearing a hat now.
Yeah, well,
and he came up
in
fine
like
dining.
This,
no, but I'm saying he came up in fine dining. Of
course, I'm not going to say a word or take any kind of offense or umbrage to somebody wearing a baseball cap.
But he's an old school dude from the old school world and also in the new world.
Back in the day at Martha's, when you were working the floor at the old Martha's Supper Club on the Intracoastal.
That was my last job. That was like the 90s.
But nowadays, you eat everywhere. You go out everywhere.
Okay, yeah. So talk about the changes. Back then, what was the dress code for Martha's?
Back then, you'd see a guy that would approach the maitre d' stand. First thing you look at is his watch.
Okay.
What kind of watch he's wearing.
If you saw me with no watch, you would just say,
watch,
get out.
Yeah, or a rubber workout watch. Watch.
Jewelry.
Pinky ring, jewelry, pair of shoes, Ferragamo, some sort of Italian, knit pants. So styling coming from the Sinatra area or it was required that
you would judge people. Basically.
Oh, you guys were judging.
Oh, wow. What table they would get on the Intracoastal, window seat.
Yes.
How much are they going to spend on
13
wine?
Seats at the window. You say, sir, I want a table on the window. Have a seat at the bar. I'll be happy to get you. I only have 13 tables. And if he comes up and he says a man flying a kite, which is Benjamin Franklin, $100 bill, we can make arrangements or green. Okay, so these days are on. I mean, look at our God rest his soul, Vinny at Runway or Joe. How about Joe Stonecrab? Takeaway. Yep. No waiting. People have revolted against it. So the wealthy, nouveau riche, entitled people, if they're putting on a $60 baseball cap and they're coming in, they're going to spend money. Yeah, you just it's not a church.
Okay.
Why would I be offended?
As an operator,
I don't care.
You're willing to let it go. This was like a big deal on the site. People freaked out.
But there are still some people who, when they go sit, especially like it was on a holiday week. It was Easter Sunday, and a day that's a little bit special. And back in the day, you would put on your maybe Sunday best.
Yeah, Sunday best. Yes.
But if you look over at a place that not necessarily white linen, but just a kind of upscale dining room, and you saw, a sea of baseball caps around you. Would it bother you?
The only thing that offends me is if someone's grinding on my ear, talking big on their phone while I'm trying to dine.
Yeah.
I could care less if he is FaceTiming or making talking, my 401k and my IRA. You know what I dislike the most? People that are associated with a famous person that continually bring up their name.
Okay.
When I was here with, Joe Namath and I, whatever. As far as a person's attire, I care less.
Okay.
I have 5
Good.
kids.
You have blinders
I have
on.
5
You're
kids.
like a good thoroughbred. You could just put the blinders up.
And the prettiest woman now, we're like, including my wife, they look like they're working out. That's it. I mean, I'm like, is this your attire? I mean, this is spandex. This is Peloton equipment.
It's got a little bit, I guess.
This is jazz.
Looser out there.
What is this? Pilates. You're coming there.
I'm still old school. I know it shouldn't bother me, but if I am and again,
you're on a diet. Remember this. You're on a diet. So,
but only at dinner and only at like upscale places. Like then it bothers me.
Is there a dress code?
When I see the baseball cap backwards?
Some places go extreme with dress code. Most don't. I mean, I've been to nice steakhouses.
There are some places that print out there.
People wear whatever.
We
I mean,
do not
25
allow
years ago.
We don't allow tank tops, and we don't allow baseball.
Some
well,
places do say that.
that's different.
It's in
but
the
my
writing.
my problem is, how about service animals? We haven't even touched. We're at a different. Okay, come on. You're talking about me worried about
night.
you You're worried about a guy wearing a ball cap, or if he has a masculine set of arms and he wants to show them off in some sort of half cut off shirt or something. I don't get offended by that. I want to know about
animals.
No, you have kids.
It's one thing.
You have unruly kids. You have unruly dog, and you're sharing your ideas with the general public. They're only great if it's your kids, your dog, and your idea. Keep it
Nobody
to
else
yourself.
wants to
I don't want to see it.
And the thing is, when somebody's legitimately blind and they have a legitimate service animal, you know. But last night, let's say the place I was in, and I mentioned it's tropical, but a guy comes into the bar during happy hour carrying a dog under his arm. Now, it's not a service dog right off the bat
100%.
because service dogs are only on the floor.
Yep.
They never leave
How
the
about
ground.
a service chicken?
I tell you what, I might start bringing out a service
Listen,
iguana.
Mike,
Remember
you're
the
trying
days of the
you're trying to
pythons?
steer me down a rabbit hole. I'm in a pub. I don't care what you do.
We used to
There's
brawl.
people that are scantily clad.
Yeah.
There's guys that are bald. They're wearing
just don't
ball
break
cap.
a bottle over anybody's head. That's all we ask.
This is-
Treat everybody with a little bit of
I
respect.
don't like the phenomena of service animals, and that is the only peeve I could
They're
have
not
in
really
a dining
service animals.
in a dining area.
Emotional support.
Outside patio
animals.
doesn't concern me.
If you are so anxious and nervous
Then why are
about
you
going
out?
out, right, just stay home if you need your animal that badly. If you need your little pooch.
Or how about you want attention?
That's
Might
what
be
it
that.
is.
I
100%
think it's an
that. Yeah,
attention-getting
100%.
device.
If I get a dog and I show up with it one show, I'm going to be in big trouble. No service animal. I mean, no
Emotional support animals.
pets inside.
There's an outside
There's
area.
a
It's a
big-
beautiful area. Go sit outside.
There's a big sign, and service animals are always welcome. According to the ADA.
Because they won't be
Nobody
bothering
wants to-
people. They sit nicely.
Pat, boy, we covered a lot of ground today.
We didn't cover South Carolina ladies.
Gamecocks.
Gamecocks.
You know,
Yes, it
once my first
I want to
sports
call
job,
it. I want to call it right here because I won't see you guys in a month.
the lady
I want
Gamecocks.
to call the Lady Gamecocks
Finishing
as
undefeated
yeah,
season.
because they're just different. They're
force.
different. I mean, I'm going to be
You like
watching
that
it.
team.
I do,
I
Undefeated.
spent a
I do.
year in South Carolina.
and I want to go
Columbia.
for the sleeper ahead of the men's. I want to
NC
pick
State.
my thing. NC State. Only because what I saw, the round rebound, he reminded me of
Burns
Charlie
Jr.'s like a-
Charles Barkley. He's
Yeah, yeah.
exciting to see a
We've
guy like
got
that.
prognosticator Pat going. Let's keep it going. We'll do our next show sometime in the middle of May after the Kentucky
Oh, the
Derby.
Derby.
Do you have a Derby winner?
I don't bet chalk.
So
I was
you
gonna
so
say, it's hard
I got to come up with
Yeah, it's
something.
hard for you to
I
go
got
with
to come up with
fierceness.
something.
the
that's,
question with Fierceness,
Yeah.
who is owned by Mike Rapoli, his last two Derby favorites had to scratch on the morning of the race. Will Fierceness make it to the starting gate? How's that for a prop?
well, that's that has something to do with the unspoken code drugging. Okay, that's it. That's where it comes down to. If
He
there's,
did look
yes,
like a beast on
it looked-
Saturday.
yeah, he looked like
He looked
a
like he was
beast.
on something.
But also they're talking about now MMA guys that steroids or no steroids. Come on,
It's MMA.
It's
You
MMA,
expect the steroids.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What does that mean without
More
the steroids?
prognostications when we do our next show. Will the Heat and Panthers still be alive in the playoffs?
Yes,
Both
yes.
of them will still
I
be.
think they will. I think that I love the tenacity of both teams. Do they go all the way? Maybe not. But I'm going to tell you, they go deep.
Okay.
Nice.
They go deep.
He's
They
pretty-
go deep.
He's
I hope
pretty
you're
sharp,
right.
so
I'm
you
ready
could
for it.
They go
make
deep.
your legal wagers accordingly. Again, South Carolina on the women's side, what UConn you said on the men's side?
He said
no,
NC
I'm
State.
going
He's
NC
all
State.
Burns
You-
Jr.
UConn is
Guy Burns Jr.
UConn's a pick. UConn is.
I didn't even realize that NC State had not even made the Final Four since Jimmy
1980.
Valvano.
Yes.
Since
1980.
Jimmy Valvano.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't ever give up. I mean, he did that for the cancer speech, but
And they made it
it
for
was
men and
the
women.
unbelievable Cinderella run. They beat Houston that year, right?
Yes.
They
With
did.
the
Yes.
Twin Towers.
Yes.
Slamma-jamma, yes.
Samson and
It was Phi
Olajuwon.
Slamma-jamma.
Yeah, Phi Slamma-jamma. All right, we're going down memory
Samson,
lane.
I think, was Virginia.
And we've gone overtime. Thank you for the extra time, Pat. Any picks in the Masters? Do you care about the golf?
I care about it. I'll care about it, but I'll tell you the truth. What do they care about? Money.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So
Oh, they like
there's
that
a
green
thing about a
jacket.
jacket, a
They
green jacket.
do. That's unlike. It is a tradition, unlike any other.
Come on, I mean, I knew the guy that used to give the green jacket. He was married to Don Shula's wife prior to
yeah,
it.
that was Stevens.
Jack Stevens. He dined at Martha's. He dined at
He
Martha's.
did?
Yes, he was a great guy,
and
his wife Marianne's still beautiful.
I
But
used to
that's when it
pester
was
him
a reverent game.
when
This
he was
is all about the Benjamins, baby.
when
Live
he
golf.
was the chairman of Augusta National. They would do an annual press conference before the tournament, and I would be the little guy that was always just throwing the most impertinent questions.
Really.
Hey, when are you going to have Jews and blacks and women? When are you going to have a black Jewish woman as a member?
We have West Side Country Club, sir. Go over there by yes. You do go back with that
Gambling
one.
is not allowed at Bushwood.
Fuzzy Zeller saying that what are they going to serve?
man.
No, I'm not. Listen, I don't believe in the hype. I don't.
I love it.
Did
I
you
love
ever
watching
watch?
it.
Did you watch the Netflix special on how these guys conduct themselves? The new guys?
Oh, you
on
know
the golf
PGA
tour?
I
Yeah.
have not seen that yet.
Oh, you got to watch it.
Are they partying and
Oh,
poking it
come on,
up
like
or
rock
what?
stars.
Yeah,
Like rock stars.
It was like that back when I covered them in the
Yeah.
'90s too. We just kind of were all,
Yeah.
It was a quieter time. There was no social media, so
We just
could
film people.
people
now.
could have their indiscretions, and the media wouldn't narc
I had
them
no
out.
idea.
Boy,
So-
am I glad I got
Oh,
sober.
we had ideas. We just didn't narc them
Yeah,
out.
I said you
know.
didn't say anything.
That's it. Pat,
Thank
thanks
you,
so
guys.
much.
Thank
You're
you.
the man.
As always, a
Appreciate it.
pleasure. Come on out to Shenanigans anytime, day or night. You can see they're packed for lunch. They do a great dinner. And, of course, late night dining. There is no finer place to get a wider
All
variety
day happy
of
hour
food.
liquor, $7.
Yeah.
Premium well.
All kinds of good stuff.
All day food.
All right, we'll see you
Thank
next
you.
time. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a double header, a weird one. We're going to be doing a morning show
Yes.
at Grandpa's right
Yes.
down the road here.
What time? I'd like
10:15.
All
We're
right,
going
I'd like
see
to
Mark
say hello.
Freed. Come
Yes,
on in.
Mark is a
Come
great
over.
Lubie's
guy.
parents are going to
Mayo,
make their
get
show
to meet the
debut,
Lubitzes.
supposedly. And
They'll
we'll
be
be
joining us.
chatting up with Mark Freed. That's from
Okay.
10:15 to 11:15. And then we're going to be going up the road, 95 to West Palm Beach, and doing a one-off show at Elizabeth's Italian restaurant. They're opening a new kind of a rooftop bar called Bar Capri or Capri Bar. And we're going to be talking with Lisbeth Suma, who is the head of culinary for the Big Time Restaurant Group. They are a big outfit, and they operate Elizabeth's, Louis Bossi's, and Rocco's Tacos. And we're going to sit down and chat with Elizabeth tomorrow at 1 o'clock, the usual time. We'll see you then. Until then, enjoy every sandwich.
Thank you.